Okay, hello Granny Gardeners. This is going to be one long continuous blooper reel because I hate doing videos and I'm super awkward, but I wanted to do a quick video on how to start tomato seeds. Everybody who's picked up a Granny Garden kit should have a bag of tomato seeds to start. They're super fun, they're great to start indoors, and I just wanted to give you some tips on the best way to do that. So the first thing to do is think about where in your house gets the most sunlight, because that's where you want to have these tomato seeds sprouting. Tomatoes love warmth, they love sun. They're not going to do super well if you're trying to grow them in a shady area. It may not be the case that you can ever put them outside. They really like heat in greenhouses. So think ahead to where a 3 to 6 foot tomato plant might go in the long run. But for now, pick a nice sunny windowsill or somewhere nice and warm. If you have seeds sprouting in places that aren't getting enough light, they're going to be really spindly little plants and they're not going to do really well, so it's important that they have a high level of light when they're little. The ideal way to start tomatoes and any seeds is going to be in some kind of pot that has drainage holes. You can see the light through this. I have quite a few of these that I can share with people, but you don't have to use things like this. You can use things like toilet paper tubes, which you can cut and shape into little seed starting pots. You can use egg cartons. The thing you want to be careful of when you're doing paper pots for seed starts is not overwatering, because you don't want them to get moldy. One thing that I'm trying out that I haven't tested before is actually these from the band store. I think that the muffin tin ones might be the best, because you can do little individual pots of soil, and while the seeds are starting and you need them to be nice and warm, you could actually just prop something in here for a little ventilation, but actually have like a little mini greenhouse for starting your seeds. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be an option. So what you want to do is take some soil and fill it to like within a ½ inch of the top of whatever you're starting your seeds in. You're going to want to pat it down so that it's a little bit firm but not like super tightly packed. You want to leave room to add a little more soil once you put the seeds in. Anybody who wants a bag of soil as part of their Granny Gardening kit, I am giving away all of the soil that I had bought for our programs, because I want people to have access to soil so they can grow things at home. So if you've picked up seeds but haven't yet got soil and need some, come and see me. So there's a lot of different kinds of tomatoes. There's no real point in telling you this because I can't remember what kind of tomatoes I gave everybody, but if you have your own seeds at home and you're thinking about what kind you want to grow, there are sweet little cherry tomatoes. You can get really nice big tomatoes. You can get tomatoes that are designed for making tomato paste. You can get Roma tomatoes. So whatever you get in your seed kits is going to be a little bit of a mystery, because I've been stressed as heck when I was putting them together and I didn't keep track of what kind of tomato seeds went in what bag. But they all start off the same way. So once you have your soil in your pots, you're going to take 2 or 3 seeds and put them in each little pot, each little cell in your pot. And you know, once they sprout and start to grow, you can thin out whichever one is weaker, but for now you want to put a couple in each pot. I think I gave everybody enough that you should be able to go wild and be pretty liberal with how many you put in. So once you've got the seeds in your pot, you're going to take a little bit more dirt and cover them like to maybe within a ½ inch of the top. Again, you're going to pat it down lightly. You're not going to compact it too much, but you want to make sure that the seeds are completely covered. And once you've got that done, you want to keep the soil moist but not like soaking wet. This is especially important if you're using something like these muffin tins or paper seed starting trays and other homemade seed starting trays that don't have drainage holes in the bottom, because then excess water can't run out the bottom. So just be really diligent about not overwatering them, but you want the soil to be moist, and check it daily to make sure that the moisture level is okay. If you'd like, you can put some sort of cover on it, like a clear cover. If you're using something like these muffin trays, you can have the lid partially closed, not all the way closed, because you don't want it to be too humid and for the seeds to go moldy. And then once you see the seeds starting to poke out of the soil, that's when you want to make sure there's no cover over them. Once they've sprouted, you'll probably notice that they're going to start leaning toward the source of light. So I like to just turn them as they sprout so that they sort of ultimately end up growing straight. Tomatoes need quite a bit of specific care. Don't be daunted, it's totally doable, but they need quite a bit of specific care once they have grown into mature plants. But I'm going to save that for a future video because this one's getting really long and I'm getting sick of my own voice, and that information's not super relevant to you right now. So that is how to start tomato seeds. A lot of the same rules apply to the other types of seeds that I gave you, but here's a little primer on tomatoes, and I will follow up with more information about the other items in your seed packages later on. Thanks, Granny Gardeners.